Hey everyone, Top Rope Tokes here. This is just saying. Usually you'd have Range of Motions over on this side with me, but he is not here tonight. But at least I am going to talk AEW Rampage with you. But first, go down below, hit that like, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Subscribe in the description. If you like wrestling, want to talk wrestling, and you use Discord, the link is there as well. Come join the discussion. But anyways, on to the show. Since no conversation to be had back and forth. This is gonna be a quick one, just kind of a recap with a little bit of thoughts in it. Of course, you start the show off. It's Rampage. The entrances are on YouTube. Um, you start the show off right into the match of Silver and Reynolds facing House of Black. When this originally got set up, since it was during originally a Hangman promo, I thought it would have been a trios match, adding Buddy and Hangman, but nope. Early on, it was fun. Silver wanted to tag in and he wanted to go strength for strength with Brody. Um, he got thrown back, still wasn't shied away from it, and he got the strength as part of the story of the match later on, as it took a couple times, but he actually did knock him down with the shoulder block, and later on, he actually did hit Brody with the German suplex. But eventually, Brody pins Reynolds after Dante's Inferno. As House of Black goes up the ramp, Darby jumps off of the tunnel onto Brody King, and they start to fight back out into the crowd and towards the ring and everything. And while this fight is starting to happen, Malachi's still standing on the stage. Sting comes out and they just have a stare down. And at one point, they go to both walk away and they rush back, just kind of like daring each other to start. But keeping up with the theme of House of Black, we get a Miro vignette next. Wonders if God made a deal with the devil to get in his way. He feels like he's being dragged down, but he sees clearly in darkness. So he asks God if he sent House of Black to destroy him or to recruit him. Honestly, I like Miro's promos and vignettes better than House of Black, so I don't know. I don't want to see his stuff become worse as a part of them, but maybe somehow feels weird to say he can help make theirs a little bit more interesting. I just don't really care for their vignettes, and I know my usual co-host Range of Motions doesn't so much either. Then we get to the Ring of Honor portion of Rampage, because it feels like half of Rampage every week is now for Ring of Honor, because we get the Lee Moriarty versus Jonathan Gresham Ring of Honor Championship match. Caprice Coleman, the commentator I like, is joining them. They really tell the story early on that Gresham isn't used to getting hit in the face. It's not allowed. And that he has a glass jaw because he'll start to get the advantage wrestling, and then Moriarty would come back and hit like a kick to the face or a really good forearm or something like that to the face, and it would just really stun Gresham. Like he would slide out, hold in his face, and go running to Tully, that kind of thing. But Gresham, in the end, still ends up winning with the octopus hold. Tony Schiavone gets into the ring after and starts to interview them. Gresham says he will be out them. Gresham says he will be out there every week, out wrestling everybody on AEW TV every week, putting on a clinic. Tully goes to echoes him, calls him the best in the world, and then Claudio comes out on stage and he just kind of takes a little bit of it, goes a little bit down the ramp, but not really far, and they just kind of draw back and forth with each other. Then, and see, this is why I say Ring of Honor portion, because after that, we get a promo. It's finally somebody at least speaking on the J. Oh, sorry, on Samoa Joe side of the whole Jay Lethal thing, and Sanjay Dutt. Sorry, like I know the name, it just was not popping into my head right there. I want to say Duffel as like combining his name with Lethal. I was like, that's not right. But you get Christopher Daniels coming to talk in place of Joe. We had talked recently on the show about how it's just part of the problem with this is it's a one-sided thing, and it was getting really, really bad. But so at least somebody is on the other side. Not nearly as good of a talker as Joe, but Christopher Daniel says they've been sitting there talking all this time when Joe's not in the ring. Or, sorry, not in front of their face, not in the arena, not even in the same state. Joe is going to teach him how to get choked out. That was basically it. He said something along the lines of if they keep talking, he'll step in. I just don't remember exactly how he said it. Next, we got the Chris Statlander and Athena versus the Renegade Twins match. Athena gets the win. They actually went to name and say what the name of her move is there now, and it was Excalibur like calling it in like an energetic way, but someone else went to talk and all that, so I really did not catch exactly what they called it. After the match, Layla Gray gets up on the ring apron because she was in the baddie section, but not with Jade or Kira. No, 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 no. They don't sit ringside anymore. I mean, they'll sit ringside, like, but not in the crowd, not like the baddie section. No, no, never, never again. Statlander tosses Layla in the ring, and they beat up on Layla Gray for a minute, but then quickly Jade and Kira come right down. They quickly lay waste to Statlander and Athena, and they start to just walk out, and you could tell still like Stokely was helping Layla Gray like get up the ramp and walk and everything, and Jade and Kira were kind of separate but with them and still giving them a look. Commentary was trying to say that Layla Gray was kind of stand up for the baddies and earn her place. And we go back to Ring of Honor partly thing because it's Moriarty is backstage with Lexi, and immediately Stokely comes in and interrupts, says Lee Moriarty should be doing more. What can Seidel do for him? Stokely ends up leaving, and Seidel says he's got something really good for him next week. Dante Martin versus Lee Moriarty. Two athletes, probably going to be very quick, very fun. Then we get to Tony Schiavone in the ring with Gun Club, where they're supposed to explain their actions. Billy says he gets it. Everyone loves the Acclaimed, even he loves them. But there's a time that Daddy Ass has to drop the hammer. That's about all that was said. We did not really get a rhyme or reason. He talked about like when he said he loved them, he said he loved them more than his own sons and treated them better than his own sons. So like they acknowledge that aspect of it, but not really. There wasn't an explanation ever given outside of that. So the Acclaim comes out, no mic, no rap. They just come right down to the ring. After however long it's been, it's weird to see Bowens in his full wrestling gear. It was nice to see. It was different. See, I'm just so used to now the whole way that they've been coming to the ring all together as a group. So it was just different. And then without the rap too. But they get in the ring and Billy immediately tries to smooth it over. He's like, I know how to do this. Same puts up. He's like, one more time. Puts his fingers up and he looks over kind of in between the two of them, but leaning more towards Max and he goes, scissor me daddy ass to them. But yeah, that didn't do anything because Bones ends up super kicking him, and then they toss both of them out of the ring, and then Max freestyles on the mic. No music, nothing. I did not catch the lines, boom, because it was a quick one. I know basically one of them said Billy Gunn has a little dick, and I forgot what the other part was. The other part was actually better, but that was last night. Sorry. Bowens tries to get them come down and fight right there, and then doing his whole lines like where he calls out the city name, Savannah, Georgia. Uh, they claim to drive, and he says he wants to see us fight right here. They do the typical thing where it's like, you want to see us fight? You want to see a fight? Austin Gunn says no. That was it. Then we get it's time for the main event promo. Sorry, I can't imitate it well. My partner's not here. That's his job. He does that well. Of course, one side of it is spoken. There's a lot of Spanish in this one, so there's a lot that I really didn't get to say or hear or know what they said outside of at the end when Alex says what Penta says, and honestly, that's where I start taking notes because the whole thing was Penta says Andrade has forgotten lucha culture, that removing a mask makes him better than no one. Jose, the assistant, when they come out with Andrade's and they're holding up both Penta's and Phoenix's masks that they've taken, I cannot talk, sorry. Private Party gestures during the match that they're going to go for the mask. During this match, Andrade distracted a couple of times. During the last time, Roosh came running down to the ring, and he actually got into the ring and interfered. He actually was like standing on top of the ref at one point, and I swear Bryce looks right at him, still does nothing, gets out of the ring, and it really didn't even matter because Ray Phoenix ends up pinning Quinn after the Blackfire Driver. And that was the show. Now, I will say, plus side, no luchador mask came off today. Well, in that show. Because obviously, live crowd was all Dynamite as well. But in this show, no mask came off, so that's an improvement. And as I've been talking about with Range, I'm okay if mask coming off is a part of a gimmick. But like every time the Young Bucks face the Lucha Bros, pulling off the mask is a thing. It's been a thing against the Lucha Bros for ever since AEW starts, and it got annoying. At least this time, if they can confine it to one group that does it as a gimmick, that's better. But we were seeing it all the time. It was annoying. So circle back to the Ring of Honor Championship. Having Claudio come out looking, and he is going to be the challenger for the Ring of Honor title come Death Before Dishonor. That is kind of jumping right back to the promo that he had with Jake Hager backstage when they agreed to no physicality. How he says he's never well, Jake told him that he's never going to be has never been a world champion, is never going to be a world champion. So honestly, I don't know. We haven't really seen how Ring of Honor will look outside of like it's half a Rampage. So once they get going full, I don't know how much transition it is, if it's going to be like a very fluid roster situation, or if certain people are going to be more of the show or that show. I don't know how they're going to treat factions and like spreading them across shows. I mean, because we don't really have too much of a strong connection to the factions over in New Japan, but that could, with things opening up, expand. Like Range and I have talked about the idea of Takeshita end up joining the Blackpool Combat Club and then carrying the flag over in Japan and then recruiting some people over there and expanding it, kind of like how Bullet Club was with Ring of Honor and New Japan, then more notably than any of the other factions, more so than LIJ and more so than Chaos, things like that. So if they start to expand, that would work. I don't know necessarily if that means Claudio is going to win that championship. I mean, he just got there too. Don't know exactly Ring of Honor is going to look like. Gresham just started this whole new story where he has his whole stable behind him and turned heel. So I don't know if it really makes sense to have Claudio win it, but I really don't know anymore. Especially after that tag team title match just recently where Young Bucks only recently got the titles but lost it to Swerve and Our Glory. I'm not mad about that. Didn't see it coming. I was one of the many people thinking it was leading us to the big FTR match again with all the titles. But sometimes they surprise us. It happens. Not complaining. I like the end of that match. I'm happy they won. I absolutely love that triple threat tag team match. My heart says what we know about Ring of Honor right now, Claudio isn't winning. Maybe he does. And that's kind of like to help start kick off whatever this is going to become. But there's too many signs to say, right now I wouldn't be super confident in it. Dante Martin versus Lee Moriarty should be a fun match next week. I mean, I know neither one of them have had a super great personality where the crowd is super invested on. People like Dante Martin. They enjoy his in-ring matches. Um, I don't know if he has a huge connection to audiences yet. And same thing with Moriarty. I'm guessing we'll probably get Christopher Daniels versus Jay Lethal or Satnam Singh, at least before we get to Death Before Dishonor, considering what his promo was. Don't know exactly where this Miro versus House of Black thing is going, which isn't a bad thing. Like when he sits there and put the idea of, is he going to fight them or is he going to join them? Like him putting that idea out there, I'm like, wait, what? I have no idea where this is going. I don't really have one specific hit of the night, so I'm not even going to bother. Because there wasn't anything that really stuck out to me. So with that being said, I'm just gonna wrap this baby up. It will be one of the shorter episodes, but that's what happens when you have no conversational back and forth. But we're gonna continue to make the videos. It was a good night. I got to come home and enjoy the show before passing out after a late night. Since he was not gonna be around, I did not worry about punctuality, and I went and enjoyed my Friday night. I hope everyone else that's watching this gets to enjoy their weekend as well. Later.